Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan Holliday, and welcome to Between the Word. So, this is the first episode of the podcast, and I think I'd just like to take this opportunity to talk about kind of what my vision is at the start here for what we want to be doing with this channel. And then also in the latter half of this video, just kind of talking about myself and where I'm coming from. So, kind of the goals for the podcast. The main goal is to read through the entire Bible. And unfortunately, I'm not Father Mike Schmitz, so I'm not going to be able to do it in a year, most likely, although that would be great. But God willing, we'll be able to do it, over the course of a few years. And that's kind of the goal. So just start from the beginning, make our way all the way through to the end. It's a really long book. I mean, it's a collection of books, but it's really long. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily easy, but that is the goal. So I think I see posting about once a week or so. Some weeks maybe we'll get more than one video out. Some weeks maybe I'll miss, unfortunately. But that's kind of the general goal, is about one video a week, and I'm going to try my best to stay true to that. Kind of over the course of reading the Bible, it's going to be mostly just me reading it and kind of talking about what I'm gathering from it. But I would like to have guests on as well. There might be certain chapters that maybe some of my friends might want to join and be a part of, and then there can be some collaboration there. So I think that'd be really good to kind of get people on maybe as we're going along the journey and get some different perspectives rolling with that. So some guests on throughout. Maybe they might want to come on more than once, so that's totally fine. So we'll just have to play that by ear and see how that goes. Occasionally, we might have a video just talking with a guest. So there might be a week where maybe we're not reading from the Bible that week, and just kind of sitting down, talking, getting to know somebody, kind of where they're coming from, and understanding their perspective on life, and maybe ideally on some Christian things as well. But I think that's a little bit more few and far between. Mostly we are probably going to just stick to reading the Bible and trying to learn together. And that is a key thing. I've never read through the entire Bible, so I'm not infallible whatsoever, and this is a learning process for myself, and I hope that we will be able to learn together, and there's going to be some things that I'm probably going to miss, and so in the comments, feel free to talk about maybe what your perspective was for that chapter, for a verse or something, because there's going to be things that stick out to me personally, and there's going to be things that maybe I'm just not getting a lot out of that verse, and somebody else might have a life experience where that sticks out to them more. So I'm really looking for some sort of collaborative effort and trying to learn together, because I'm pretty new to the faith. I've only really been converted for a little less than a year now, coming up on a year. So look, I'm new, and I'm trying to just learn as much as I can. And I think a really good way of doing that would be, going through the Bible in a year. So, or not in a year. Definitely not in a year. That would be, again, that'd be great, but no, not in a year. So, so learning together, that's a key thing that I'd like to focus on. Reading the Bible, that's a good thing. So I think regardless, there's going to be stuff that we're going to learn. So I guess I can talk about myself a little bit, kind of where I'm coming from. So I'm 23 years old. I was born in Pennsylvania, United States of America, and that's where I was born and raised. Kind of grew up going to church a little bit, especially in elementary school. I went for quite a few years in elementary school to a Lutheran type of church or United Church of Christ. But I was so young, I didn't exactly understand, why we were going. I mean, as a kid, you're just kind of, oh, gosh darn it. Just sitting here, I don't really know what's going on. I just want to play with toys or something. So Uh, I don't know. I don't think you can fault me, I guess, but I was just a kid, so I didn't really know what was going on. It wasn't interesting. But yeah, then I started playing travel ice hockey, and so we kind of stopped going to church, and so that kind of period of my life was behind me. And then by middle school, you're starting to be able to reason and understand things a little more. Um, so I was like kind of completely separated from the faith at that point, and to me, like I was very scientific minded, and so I kind of had it in my head in middle school that like science and like religion did not like coincide together. Uh, that was just like what I drew out of it, especially like at that age. So I mean, I wouldn't have like considered myself an atheist. Like I wouldn't have said that like, oh, I'm an atheist, but like that basically is what it was. But I mean, it was more so like I don't believe unless I am given like a miracle or some sort of like more evidence to believe. So that's kind of how I was for probably about 10 years of my life. So probably starting in like 6th, 7th grade and up through like sophomore year of college. So again, I wouldn't have like said specifically I'm an atheist, but like that basically, that's basically what I was. I didn't believe in God. Um, yeah, so very scientifically oriented, and eventually, there was kind of like a collision between like science and like kind of how like my political views were, because I thought that like I was on the side of science, and then like the kind of people that I was associated with, uh, particularly like I was a little bit more on the left side. I was pretty moderate, but a little bit more on the left side, and I kind of started straying away from like the science. That's how I saw it. I'm not gonna go like super in depth on like how that was, but I just saw that there were things happening that wasn't following the sciences as I knew it. So it kind of caused me to start searching a little bit for, okay, like maybe you can't really ground your reality like just in science, because it's basically like trying to ground your reality in like facts, but there's facts for everything. Like there's millions of facts. There's facts we don't even have yet. Uh, so you have to have a way of like valuing these facts, and like how much is this fact worth versus this fact, and like how am I going to decide which facts hold more truth. So you can't just entirely live your life based on just fact, 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 because you need a way of like determining the significance of each fact. So that's kind of where religion starts to get involved in like worldview and philosophy and that type of stuff, is like how you're going to value these things. Uh, so yeah, I was starting to question, and I was a little bit more open at that point to maybe trying to hear what Christians had to say, because I always viewed it as kind of silly, but to be honest, I just didn't really understand. So yeah, there was a shift in my heart to kind of be open to hearing their perspective a little bit more. And at that moment, I was hanging out with my friend Andy. We became friends in college, and I think this was junior year, probably the fall semester of junior year. And we were hanging out. We went to a spot on campus, and this group of people come walking in, and we were like, oh, like, who are they? Because we were kind of looking to be a part of more things, that, part of more clubs and whatnot, because we were pretty focused on our academics, and we wanted to kind of branch out a little bit, maybe volunteer. We had literally just had a conversation that day about wanting to volunteer more to build up that resume, because, that's nice. But yeah, so this group of people come walking in, and he actually recognizes two of the girls in the group. Alexandra and Stephanie. He went to school with them. He went to Catholic school with them. So he walked over and we said hello and introduced ourselves. And then they said that they were part of the Catholic campus ministry for George Mason. So we got to talking with them, and I was like, do you guys have any volunteering opportunities? Because we were looking for ways to get involved, and they said, yeah, absolutely. Like this Thursday, we're cooking for people that need food. So we're like, all right, yeah, we'll be by, and that's what we did. So that Thursday we showed up, met a lot of people, cooked some food, and while we were there, I kind of got to talking with some people and asked about joining a Bible study. And so that's what I did then the following semester was, we had Bible studies like every week, and I was going to that, and that's where I was like really learning a lot and kind of understanding more how they were seeing the world. And that's when I found out that, religion and science, like they aren't polar opposites. It's not one or the other. I found out that like no, like they actually like go together so well, which was kind of a revelation of sorts. So yeah, so that was definitely a big thing because I don't think I could have like completely disregarded the science. Like that was my whole background. So like, and that's a lot of what I knew to be true. So I didn't want to completely leave that in the dust. That wouldn't make any sense. But once I found out that they go together and understood that, then I was like, okay, like I can be open to this. So continued going to Bible study and learning, and understanding a little bit more of where they were coming from. And I think that semester I tried praying for the first time, and that was extremely difficult because you have to understand like 10 years of my life, like I didn't believe in this whatsoever. So I don't know, it was going against everything I kind of knew. So yeah, first time I had to pray was tough. I remember laying in bed in like a dark room, my room at college, and just laying there and like, am I really about to do like the sign of the cross and start praying? Because like I didn't believe that there was anything out there, so like I'm just like laying in bed, and it's kind of silly just to, I don't know, I guess be like talking to myself. But eventually I brought up the strength to swallow my pride and decided to do that. So I made the sign of the cross and prayed, and then it was fine. Like I don't think there was anything life changing in that moment, but at least I kind of got over that hill, and I guess I kind of made the decision that okay, like maybe I don't believe right off the bat, but I will at least like try to go through the motions and like try to like live my life like the rest of these Christians around me, because they have something that they're grounding it in that I don't. But if I try to follow it and bring it into my life, then maybe there will be a change over time. So it's kind of the decision I made. So I kept going to mass and kept talking with people, going to Bible studies, and just tried to walk the religious life that I was seeing. And then that summer between junior year and senior year of college, I had my first internship, and it was really good. I got to teach high school age students about the stuff that I was literally learning in college. So more specifically, I taught on crime scene investigation. I gave a ton of lectures on that, and yeah, I think the students learned a whole bunch, and in return, I believe that the teachers also learned a lot as well. So yeah, it was really good for kind of progressing my knowledge in that field specifically, learning about all the different types of aspects of forensics and the different avenues you could go down. Because at that point, I was still unsure of like which direction I would want to take my career post college. So that kind of helped figure that out a little bit. But that being said, like there were still some difficulties, especially like with my faith, since I was still being formed so much and was still trying to kind of figure it all out. So yeah, there was challenges that arose, but I believe that like that is the summer where I kind of had like the most growth in my faith personally. So I think for that time frame, there were challenges that arose, but God does good with struggle, and He makes things grow out of it, and luckily I got to grow a ton from just being down there and going through those things. So yeah, that summer, I mean, I was praying. I was praying almost every night. I would be in the shower, and I was just praying in the shower, just praying for the strength to get through this time, uh, and to continue to grow in relationship. Because again, it was all just very new. So I think towards the end of that summer, doing that internship, there was an experience that like I don't know if I would say it was life changing, but like it was the first kind of, I guess, miraculous experience you could say, that I had personally. Um, so yeah, one of the times when I was praying in the shower, I wasn't even really praying for a sign or anything. I was just praying probably for the normal strength and patience and growing in relationship. But when I was done praying, I looked on the wall in the shower, and I just saw like in this one tile, written in the water, it said Jesus saves, change. Because I was still probably going back and forth on whether I was going to go down this path or just go back to my former atheistic self. Uh, and that's what it said. So that, and I just kept staring at it. I kept staring at it, and kind of waiting for it to just wash away, and then it wasn't going anywhere. So it was like that for a few minutes, and I was just looking at it, and I think I was smiling, and I just felt like so much joy probably in that moment. But yeah, then when I turned off the water of the shower, and then like I looked back at the tile, then it was gone. So that was probably like the biggest like miracle or kind of grace that I've been given even up to this point. But I don't know if it was necessarily life changing, but it was a very interesting moment. So yeah, that happened, and like of course maybe I was just uh, seeing what I wanted to see on that tile and just making like connections in my brain that like I was just seeing something that actually wasn't really there. Like it just happened to be water droplets on the tile. Like that's obviously a possibility, and like I'm open to accepting that. But like that is what I saw, and that is how I perceived it. So that's fine with me. It I don't think it necessarily made or broke anything. Like it was just good. So eventually I wrapped up that summer, and I think by the end of that summer, uh, I was pretty convinced that this was the path that I was going to go, towards Christianity, because I was just experiencing so much growth. So then, senior year of college, I went to OCIA, and for those of you that don't know, that's basically like a class where you sit down and you're just learning about like the faith and learning about God and like why we believe what we believe and like grounding it in the scriptures and stuff. So that was basically a class to get you to know what it is that you're signing up for if you're going to be confirmed into the church. So I went through that and asked questions when they were necessary, and obviously I don't understand everything. They don't teach you everything in the class, but I guess they teach you the fundamentals of like what are the kind of the basics that you have to understand before giving your life over to Christ. So yeah, so I went through that, and that was good. And then by Easter, I was confirmed into the church. I had already been baptized as a baby, so then I got confirmed into the church, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And it's been good. It's been really good. I think. Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's not always easy, but I don't think you're promised an easy life, and if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. So that's kind of where I come from. So I haven't read through the whole Bible yet, and there's still so much that I don't know. But I'm kind of in this state right now where I'm just like a sponge, and I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. And I think a really good next step in this chapter of learning and growth would be to read the Word of God. So yeah, I think it's worth doing. That's why I want to do it. I want to be able to grow, learn, understand more, and I really hope that by doing this online, for you guys, that you are all able to learn alongside me, regardless of where you're at in your faith. Um, yeah, so it's the living Word of God, and it's constantly revealing new things to us. So there's always something to learn from it. I guess I'll also touch on kind of what I did at college. So yeah, I'm kind of more of like the scientific minded person. So I went to college for forensic science. So I took a lot of biology, chemistry, a little bit of physics, a lot of forensics courses, and I graduated in 2024, so last year. Uh, yeah, so that's kind of what my background is there. I picked forensics because I thought it was a good combination of like the three major sciences. In high school, I liked biology, I liked chemistry, I liked physics, so I was having a hard time like picking, all right, which route do I want to go down? And then I saw that forensics, it was kind of like a combination of those three, and using the sciences basically to puzzle things together to understand truth. So I really liked that aspect of it, of using the scientific tools to reveal truth and to learn more about the world and what's going on. So that's the route that I took. I went to George Mason University, graduated last year with my forensic science degree. It's a bachelor's of science. And then right out of college, I was able to secure a job in my field. So I work at a toxicology lab now, and that's what I've been doing for about the past 9 months. And I've learned a ton there too. I've learned a lot about the instrument that I use, for these biological samples. It's called a GCMS, gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Um, yeah, so I've learned a lot about that, and that's where I've been now. So I work a regular full time job, but uh, this is something important that I want to do, kind of, on the side to introduce, even more faith into my life. Because working and all that is really good, and I really enjoy doing that. But I'd also like to do more. I feel like, I'm not doing enough. So this is kind of the next step in that direction, and uh, yeah, hopefully we can learn a lot together. But that's who I am. That's my background. That's a little bit of where I'm coming from, and I'm sure as we go on, you guys will learn more about myself, and as we have guests on, hopefully we can learn more about them and their background, and it's a collective effort. We're going to try to understand as much as we can together, and I really look forward to doing it. I hope you guys do too. Um, yeah, that's all I got. So this is the Between the Word podcast. Thank you for joining me for the first episode, and the next time you guys see me, we'll be opening up the Bible and starting in Genesis in the beginning. So hope to see you there, and God bless you all. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.